Welcome to the Wise Take DFS Podcast. I am your host, CK013. You can find me on Twitter at CK013. And I'm joined once again by my good friend, Patio Joe. You can find him on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref. That's REF. Patio Joe, how you doing, brother?
Doing well. I'm just reading these texts here from Paulie. He is on the ledge again. He is on his own about the Philadelphia defense this week. So I hope for his sake, I hope he's right. He needs a win. So, because after Bortles last week, I think we're giving him a little stuff, a little shit. You know what I mean? So, he is strongly against playing the Eagles defense this week, and I am saying that they're probably the safest of all the defenses. But anyways, that's football. But I'm getting a kick out of it because I love Paulie when he puts his foot in the stand. You know what I'm saying? Like, nope, this is how it's gonna be.
Oh yeah.
It's funny though. He's quiet though. When it's not working, you don't hear anything. You can tell. Like, yeah.
But he's cool about it though. Like
no. Hey,
you know what I mean?
That's what we got to do though. That's our job. We have to put our feet in the sand when we're doing these takes.
Yeah.
Being wishy-washy is not going to help anybody.
And for him too, it's not going to even for him. Like, he has to take a stand. If we don't ever take stands, then we're never gonna. We wouldn't be good players if we didn't take stands. Like, how do you think people win tournaments? They take a stand. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. And like it's good because when we're on these podcasts together, the three of us, it's like we totally have two totally different views of it, and we totally argue our side, and we're both sort of right. Because we don't really know what's going to happen. One of us is going to be right.
Oh, yeah.
So, I honestly think to that game, I think that the Giants are going to put up points, but I think the Eagles defense is going to get enough turnovers and sacks to make, if they get any type of a pick six or return or anything, they're going to make their value, and you're going to be sitting pretty in your cash games, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I think there's a couple question marks in that regard, and I know we're talking a little bit about football, but we're going to get through this slate, no problem. But I have concerns with just the functionality of now, they play some tough defenses. I'll give them that. The Cowboys' defense I do think is pretty decent, even though Semien made them look bad. I do think that their defense is better than what we saw in Denver. And Detroit's defense has been coming around, and they have a huge test in Atlanta. So we're going to really find out how good they are. They held DJ in check. So it's like, but again, like, you're still waiting to see like any sign of life. And like the point you brought up was the best, in that their offensive line looks weak, and like that's a big issue. So that's a big time issue, especially against the Eagles. Man, it's a team full of pass rushers.
I hope everybody's enjoying the Thursday night game tonight. There's been like 60 points scored, so.
Yeah.
I don't think there's been 60 points scored in all the Thursday night games combined so far. Yeah. So, Todd Gurley, man, I think he is back for another week, and then I want everybody to, trade him if you're in the season leagues, because it's going to get bad. That's just Patio Joe saying his schedule's coming up is really bad. But he is doing the job right now, so good for him.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's got 90 yards on 22 carries, 2 touchdowns, and he's got a receiving touchdown too. So
yeah, I was surprised with how many points the Niners are putting up.
Yeah, for sure.
All right, sure. Let's talk some baseball.
Let's do it. Talking baseball.
Yes.
Zuski Campanella talking baseball. Okay.
Yes, man. We still got some money. There's still some money to be made in baseball. We had Wisco and we had Cam pumping up the pods, bringing up the spirits, getting everybody back into the groove of baseball, man, with their enthusiasm and the young blood, like they.
Seriously, I love those two kids. I can't wait. I can't wait to do some podcasts with just the three of us or just the two of us. It's gonna be so nice during basketball season, during football season. It's
gonna happen next week. I'm telling you. It's gonna happen next week.
Yes, and maybe if one of them wants to stay up late tomorrow night and record an after-hours podcast with Audie after I get home from my football games.
They're on Central Time, so they may.
Yeah, they might. Hey, they're college kids too, man. They never sleep. They're on Ritalin probably, or
Wisco's not here. Wisco's not a kid. He's like
Wisco. How old is Wisco? He can't be that old.
He's not old. He's not old. He's still young.
Yeah, way young. I'm the grandpa.
But he's got a family and stuff, though.
That's true. But he looks young, though. By the way, you look young, Wisco. I just want to let you know that, John Lackey. You look young, all right?
Yeah, man.
So,
John Lackey. John Lackey. He does that.
Okay, so let me ask you a couple things real quick before we get into the baseball. Mm-hmm. Your top 5 quarterbacks this week, very unconventional.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Very unconventional. I mean, yes. I'm not saying I didn't like some of them. I look at yours and I look at, man, we're kind of, no, we have one guy the same. That's it. But that's besides the point. And but yeah, very unconventional. What were you thinking there? I mean, tell me about Rivers. Actually, out of all of them, Rivers is the one that kind of even me as a Charger fan, I'm asking. You got him at number 2.
Yeah, man.
Josh, Jesus Christ, we are number 2. Yeah. Josh, what? Hey, what?
I won't even give that away. I won't even give away what Josh said. But as far as Phillip Rivers, I will talk about Phillip Rivers real quick. I like the matchup, man. He's at home. It's a big rivalry game. It's the Chiefs. You know what I mean? And I was a little surprised that Wentz was able to throw the ball around so well in Kansas City. You know what I mean? That alarms me a little bit. I know that they did a good job holding Brady, in New England. But again, it's like a preparation thing. They had all offseason to kind of prepare for Tom Brady and the Patriots. And so I have a lot of confidence in Rivers, man. He's got his healthy receivers. He's got a lot of options, man. We saw him do a lot last year with very little, and now he's got some options. He's got Hunter Henry coming around, the touchdown thing's out of the way, and he's got Tyrell Williams. He's a good receiver, and there's no room for him and Travis Benjamin. Those are 2 decent deep threat receivers. Mm-hmm. And then you got Keenan Allen. He's got weapons. You got Melvin Gordon.
Yeah, right. I understand. I understand.
So yeah, man, I like him. I really do. I like him.
Everything else looks pretty much, I'm looking at everybody else. I mean, Brandon Cooks, maybe I could say Eifert's going to be out. Tight end is everybody's hurt. Jordan Reed's probably going to be out. So, but yeah, I like everything else seems pretty much on cue. I just was like, your quarterbacks were definitely a little bit out there.
Oh, yeah.
Not as out there as Josh, but that's why you're the GPP guy, because that's number 2. They're out there on a limb, buddy.
F the chalk.
I love you.
F the
that's
chalk. Again, nothing like him, but it's still funny.
No,
it's still funny.
I know. Somehow it's funny. All right.
Of course it's funny. All right, guys. Sorry, we're going to talk about some baseball.
Really getting better. Yeah.
Yeah. Let's get in here.
Literally, because once we start talking baseball, we won't just cut in and be like, "Hey, did you see that play today on the Thursday night game?"
Yeah, we're just venting, getting it off our chest and stuff. And Joe's not going to be on the Y stream Saturday, so we got to touch on stuff.
That's true. I'm going to be up in San Francisco watching SC and Cal. It'll be a very good game. So
yeah, definitely. All right, man. Alex Cobb of the Tampa Bay Rays visiting Ubaldo Jimenez of the Baltimore Orioles. I think Jimenez is coming off a career freaking start against 10 Ks against the Yankees. He only went 5 innings, but he had a crazy score.
It's funny. I was looking at Ubaldo earlier today just because he's facing a team that strikes out a lot, and he's at home, and the wind seems to be blowing in. So, man, I feel like if you want to get a little crazy tomorrow, he's a little bit. He might be your Huckleberry. You know what I'm saying? He could strike out 10 guys to get blown up. And looking through this slate and looking at the pitchers on this slate, it's a freaking god-awful slate, really. I mean, when it comes to pitching, there's not much. So where are you going to go? So I'm telling you, because of that, you have to look at Ubaldo as a deeper GPP option. And Cobb, on the other hand, hasn't been that bad either. So I think it depends on the lineup that the Orioles put out. A couple of days ago, they sat Machado, and I think they sat one other guy. I think they sat Scope too, the same day. So, who knows? If they can run out of a different lineup, Cobb might be more in play. But he's a fly ball pitcher in a bad pitcher's ballpark, so that would make me kind of stay away from Mr. Cobb.
Mr. Cobb. Yeah, I think Ubaldo's in play for tournaments. I'm curious to see, like, right now I can't really imagine what his ownership's going to be like, but it's going to be 80 degrees, a little warmer, small park, so that's a little concerning. We've seen him have really good games against the Rays, and then we saw him earlier this year also get bombed by the Rays once. But the Rays have been ice cold, man. They've just been bad. Like, it seems like Baltimore just shifts on Duda and Morrison, and it works every time. Like, solid line drive right to the second baseman who's playing in right field, like, every time. Longoria looks lost. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like even Sousa. Sousa is probably like the one guy that you're really afraid of, and even he's been cold. Dickerson, man, it's like forget about it, man. Like, and evidently they pinch run for him, so evidently he's not that fast. So he's just I don't know.
Yeah, I don't get it.
I don't get it either. So like it's a high total, and like I would like to say, but like we saw today, it was a high total today. The total was rising, and I think it was like 3-1. So yeah, I think we have to consider, honestly, both these pitchers are in play, but I would assume that where you want to go is the bats, right? Like you see Alex Cobb, you see Ubaldo, you want to go to the bats, but both these teams have been relatively cold. And so, unfortunately, we have to then turn it over and look at the pitchers.
Yes.
Michael Wacha, the St. Louis Cardinals, visiting Ivan Nova of the Pittsburgh Pirates.
Yeah, Nova went through a stretch where he was just getting bombed, so I'm going to want to look at these Cardinals because they've been hot these last few days. They just destroyed these Reds these last few days. The one day it was really bad. Who was it? They were playing. He didn't even get out of the first inning. The Reds pitcher, I forget who it was. I mean, they just destroyed him. Carpenter a home run, everything. So I think that they're a hot team. Nova is historically a ground ball pitcher, but like I said, he's been giving up a lot of home runs the last 30 days. So look at him. Look at the guys that profile well against Nova, and then go at him. Maybe not a full stack. On the other side, Waka's just good enough to make me not want to stack against him, nor am I going to pitch him, though, on tomorrow's slate.
Yeah, I think that makes a lot of sense. If I play the Cardinals, it's purely because they're red hot right now. It's literally the only reason I would play them. And because the park sucks. I mean, yeah, it's going to be 82 degrees, but that's still not great. Like, you know what I mean? It's not like it's 90 or 85 or, something like that. So you wonder about the upside, but the Cardinals have been red hot. So if people want to play the Cardinals, I completely get it. And like you said, last time we saw Nova, it hasn't been good for a while for him. So I think it's safe enough. And I don't know what's up with Waka, man. I wouldn't play him anyway against the Pirates, but that dude has just been, I don't know what happened to him, man. He was a guy we were able to ride him early, and then he just kind of fell off the wagon. Who knows?
Yeah, it's like a lot of players these days,
Masahiro Tanaka, the New York Yankees, visiting Marco Estrada of the Toronto Blue Jays.
Yeah, Tanaka's not somebody that I normally roster. Thing is that these Blue Jays only have a 4-run total tomorrow, so it makes me want to look at him. But let me see. There's a FanDuel prices. So let's see. His price on FanDuel is 9.3. It's not that bad. On DraftKings, it's over 10,000. I ain't paying 10,000 for Tanaka, so I'm off of that. And when it comes to DraftKings on FanDuel, he might be interesting in a tournament option. And then on the other side, Estrada, he's a fly ball pitcher, so I'm looking at guys like Judge, Sanchez, maybe Gardner, guys like that. They hit the ball in the air. Maybe can get one out tomorrow. Yeah.
I think the last time Tanaka played Toronto, I think it was like a really chalky spot, and I don't think he did all that well. I think. But I wouldn't mind him because I think that game was in Yankee Stadium, I want to say. I'm just going to check out his logs real quick because I don't want to be wrong about this, but Toronto. Okay, no, it was at Toronto. Yeah, he didn't do well. He had 12 FanDuel points. That was in Toronto. So I still think, I don't want to necessarily judge him off that. The issue is Toronto's not really striking out a ton. And even when they're slumping like today, they were pretty bad. I guess you could tell Jason Vargas that. But Jason Vargas has a pretty nasty changeup, and that's kind of, how he was getting the strikeouts. Tanaka can't really throw that against a bunch of righties. So I'm not too big on Tanaka at that price. And Estrada, man, I just don't really want to pick on that. I'm not convinced that he's all the way back. I'm not convinced that he's like, the same Estrada we saw where he was putting up 60 points. So with that said, even though it's in Toronto, like I don't know how crazy I'm going to go with Yankees, but I don't think I'm going to go too crazy on Estrada either. So
yeah,
kind of like this whole game to me is kind of like step aside. Kyle Gibson of the Minnesota Twins visiting Daniel Norris of the Detroit Tigers.
Yeah, there's like no run total on this right now. I don't know why.
They probably had a question with the pitchers. That's probably what it was.
So I would say probably, a lefty Daniel Norris. So I'm, Dozier, Polanco, Escobar, Buxton. I'm liking those guys tomorrow. Robbie Grossman, Chris Jimenez, all the righties I like because they just crush these lefties. And so I'm like that. And Gibson, he doesn't get destroyed. So that's somebody that you just want maybe one or two guys, good salary relief maybe if somebody's moving up in the order. But if not, lay off these Tigers tomorrow.
Yeah, I don't blame you for the Tigers call. I'm not even sure. For some reason, I feel like their BVP isn't even that great against them. 242, so Mickey took 7 for 3, but like Ian Kinsler's one of the guys. I think he's okay. He's like 11 for 37. Miggy's like 7 for 26. He gets pitch hit for. Castellanos, one of the guys you like on the Tigers, is 4 for 27 lifetime. So I'm with you, man. There's not really a dire need to go there.
No.
They're not
on a 15-game slate.
Right. I do have a little bit of interest in these Twins. Daniel Norris, though, he's a guy that could. I hate to say it, but he's a guy that can occasionally rack up some strikeouts.
Mm-hmm.
But he's a guy that also typically has a really high pitch count early because I think he has problems throwing strikes at times. So we could see a situation here where like guys like maybe Rosario, Kepler, some of these lefties that people might overlook, they might get a decent opportunity against some of the right-handed bullpen also. But I do normally like to take the Twins at home. A lot of their WRC pluses at home are significantly higher. But still, so 83 degrees, I think it's playable for sure, the bats. Edwin Jackson of the Washington Nationals visiting Robert Gsellman of my New York Mets.
I don't know if you want to get a little ballsy tomorrow, but I think if you maybe did a little bit of a stack of these Mets, I think it might be a little bit contrarian. Edwin Jackson has been terrible the last few weeks. He's been getting lit up. He's been being the Edwin Jackson that we know about. I don't think it's a bad option tomorrow to be contrarian. I don't think very many people are going to go there just because they think the Mets are just packing. I mean, the Mets are favored. When's the last time that's happened?
Well, I think they're favored because I think DeGrom was supposed to pitch.
Oh, and now he's something.
Yeah, but I think DeGrom is sick or something like that, I think I read.
So, man, get on the Nats right now, I guess, then if you're damn, dude. So, but yeah, I think that you could look at it. It's weird. It's some of these Mets they're priced up a little bit higher than I thought. Like Dominic Smith is $3K. Like it's funny that he's that much.
Yeah. He was like 3.5 the other day.
Just don't get that. But the thing is, though, man, look at the projected lineup for the Nats.
Yeah.
I mean, that makes me want to throw up.
Yeah.
If Wilmer
why it
Depot
says that though.
That can't be right. And if Wilmer Depot's your number 3 hitter, and you're going to the playoffs, you got problems.
That can't be right. I see what you're looking at, and then
my God, dude, that cannot be right.
Because there's no reason that Rendon, Zimmerman, and Murphy aren't playing. Those guys
are
all
playing. What the hell? I mean,
Turner.
there's these guys in there about. Heard of.
I don't know what that's about. That's like maybe an error or something.
Yes. Wow. Man, if that's the lineup, all in on
Andrew Stevenson. Yeah. Right.
Dude, Pedro Severino. What? I mean, you got Andrew Stevenson, Rafael Bautista. I mean, they have 3 guys in here that are minimum price.
Like all the reject names of the players. Like instead of like Severino from the Luis Severino, it's Pedro Severino. Instead of Jose Bautista, it's Rafael Bautista.
It sounds like the fake players that they would put names on the video games when you were a kid. The baseball players. Like, this is Pedro Severino. He's really good.
Exactly.
And baseball stars, or.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh man, dude, or Victor Robles. Who the hell is that? Adrian Sanchez. Like what?
Hansel Robles is.
I mean, literally, their whole team is a value cash game play. Jesus Christ! My God, damn.
Yeah.
These fucking Nats.
yeah, they're bad. Yeah, man, I don't mind the Mets here. They've been hot. Jose Reyes has been ridiculously hot. He's crazy. Asdrubal Cabrera's been hitting the ball well. 4.1. I mean, yeah, I know it's crazy. I said that last time the Mets were playing. I was like, Jose Reyes is 4.1. I was like, I'm gonna stack the Mets, and like, I went with like Aoki and Cabrera, which was like I've never played him before. It was the first time ever playing him, and then I'll never play him again. And then, so I usually, if I'm going to do a mini stack, a lot of times I'll go the 1-3-2-4 kind of thing. So I went to 2-4. I mean, I went to 1-3, and I should have went to 2-4. That's basically what happened. Reyes hit a freaking home run. I was like, I'm not paying 4-1 for Reyes, and he hit a home run. And I was like, oh, game theory-wise, I guess that made sense. Because who the hell in their right mind would pay 4-1 for Reyes, and then he hits a home run? So it's like, but yeah, man, I think the Mets are in play here. And I also think the Nats are in play, especially because if Giseleman is going to start, which it looks like DeGrom got sick, then like he wasn't expecting to start, so that's like a day that I don't know. When I was a pitcher, I was very regimented, and those little things could mess with me a little bit. So plus the Mets bullpen is the worst, dude. The Mets bullpen is just absolutely the shits right now. It's kind of like they're just kind of letting arms go because they want to build it for next year, so they're just kind of like evaluating all these random people. And, like, we see the Mets put up, like, 8 runs and still lose. They're just getting blasted, man. Rick Porcello of the Boston Red Sox visiting Sal Romano of the Cincinnati Reds.
Yeah, Sally Boy pitching at home against these Red Sox. So, the Red Sox versus the Reds. Lots of Reds going on tomorrow.
Lots of red.
Lots of red. I wouldn't mind some of these lefty bats of the Red Sox against Romano. And on the other side, Porcello, I'm not scared of him. So, and the Reds play better at home. So if you want these Reds bats, these lefty red bats, go after them too.
Yeah, man. I 100% agree. 87 degrees. It's supposed to be 50% humidity. One of the best hitting environments on the night. This is a great game stack candidate right here. Not afraid of Porcello either. Not with these Reds. The Porcello, I get worried with teams that strike out a lot. But teams that don't strike out like the Reds, I'm not worried at all. Chevalier hit 2 home runs today. He was leading off. That was pretty cool to see him lead off. But Votto and Kozar disappointed me a little bit today, so I expect a big bounce back. But love all these guys, man. And the Red Sox, too, of course. I love them in this small park. Against Sal Romano. Bring it. Ben Lively of the Philadelphia Phillies visiting Sean Newcomb of Gady's Atlanta Braves.
Yeah, we got a righty going into Freeman Field, so like Freddie Freeman. It's going to be tomorrow. Newcomb is a guy that, he's facing these Phillies that are pretty hot. They won 3 out of 4 from the Dodgers. So Newcomb's not somebody I'm going to be considering tomorrow. I don't know if I'm going to be attacking them with a full stack. But, if you want to play a guy like Hoskins, got another guy that's just been on fucking fires out there. That guy hit a grand slam on Monday against Kershaw. And then he hit another home run the next day. And then I think he hit like another 2-run bomb to put him ahead on Wednesday. Like he's just on fire and he crushes lefties. So Hoskins out there, I'm good with. On the other side, Freeman. And because Lively had a good start 2 starts ago, and then he just looked like shit against the A's. So if you want Inciarte, Albies, Freeman, Markakis, go for it.
Yeah, man. Definitely with you on the bats here. Altair has been around. The whole Phillies team has been pretty hot. The Braves are always a threat, and they don't strike out. It seems like today DFS was kind of boring baseball. There was like no scoring. It was like a handful of home runs. It was just really slow moving. Like everybody was talking about how ugly the pitching slate was, yet nobody hit. So it was like kind of weird. And so I get the feeling already that it's going to be kind of the opposite this way. You know what I'm saying? Like I get the feeling that we've already talked about all these bats that we like. Like I love this game, but I also love that Reds game. I also think that Mets game is kind of interesting as far as ownership goes. So like there's going to be a lot of ways to go with hitting. I think like pitching. One thing we haven't liked so far is any pitcher. I think that we spoke the best about Ubaldo so far.
Ubaldo, that says a lot.
That says a lot. I think we've spoken the best about him. That's scary. But yeah, bats again. This is another bat spot. All right, we got Wisco DFS of the Chicago Cubs visiting his favorite team.
He's gonna be at home. He's pitching at home tomorrow. He's pitching in his backyard.
Wisco pitching at home, bro. But against his favorite team, the Milwaukee Brewers.
And I remember earlier this year, I want to say it was a Sunday. Like literally, I think we all were like just literally were jerking off because Lackey was pitching against the Brewers, and they were going to crush. And we were just, we were like, it was going to happen. And then Lackey's got to pull off fucking John Lackey and like totally screw our day.
Yeah.
So typical Lackey. I'll tell you what though, like Sogard's 2-2, that's not bad. Shaw's 3-4, that's not bad. So if you want these guys, go after them. On the other side, Woodruff. Yeah, you can attack them with these Cubs. These Cubs are hot. They're ready for the postseason. So, yeah, this game definitely don't like the pitchers again, like the hitters. Move on.
Yeah, nothing really new here. Small park, like you said, the Cubs. It seems like these Cubs are in pretty solid form. They're kind of maintaining themselves, making sure at least one of their platoon bats always hits a home run, whether it was Rizzo, Schwarber. It's like, just take your pick. These guys, if you pick the right one, they're going to hit a home run. And it's hard for me to go back to Lackey. I know he pitched well, but it's really hard for me to like Lackey. And wow, man, it's like there's really no pitching. There's it really is pretty ugly, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple guys going later on that we're going to talk about, but
but that's the problem is that you don't want those guys to be the best options going.
We'll talk. Don't worry, we'll talk about it. We'll talk about it.
Jason Hamill of the Kansas City Royals visiting Ronaldo Lopez of the Chicago White Sox.
Ronaldo Lopez is a guy you want to look at tomorrow for GPPs. I know it sounds a little bit loco, but I am a loco mofo. So I'm telling you, I just think that he's been pitching pretty well the last 2 weeks. So I want to look at him. Jason Hamill's nothing special. I don't know why he's favored in this. I like the White Sox to win this game. They're a better hitting team right now. I mean, obviously, if you want some of these guys against Lopez, like, Whit Merrifield and Hosmer and Kane and Perez, you can. I think that Lopez is going to pitch a good game tomorrow night. And I think that some of these White Sox bats you can get because, man, Hamill is he's garbage at times. And anytime you want, just once again, get the hitters. Bottom line, get the hitters.
Yeah, man. I don't think that I would want to pitch either of these guys. I mean, like, Hamill, I sort of get it maybe as an SP2 if he's cheap because he has the potential to not get lit up, but not in his ballpark, really. It's a small park, 85 degrees, a little humid. Could see the ball carry here. I think it's actually a good spot to go after a team like the Royals because of the big park upgrade here. Mm-hmm. They were just playing in Toronto, and Happ did pretty well against them, but Ronaldo Lopez still has a little bit of a ways to go, I think. Mm-hmm. And I get it with the White Sox. Again, I still think Hamill is a guy you can consider in deeper fields. I will never play the guy, but I know I've seen people play it and get away with it this year. And as much as that upsets me, it apparently does work from time to time. Yeah. And man, I think pitching is so ugly. Garrett Richards of the Los Angeles Angels visiting Justin Verlander of the Houston Astros.
Well, here you go. Here's one of them. Here's one of the pitching options tomorrow you're going to want to go with is Verlander. Some of the what I've been looking at so far, he's grading out pretty well tomorrow night. They really like him. I wish that these Angels would strike out more. If he did, I would be all in on, at least for cash. So that being said, Verlander is great for GPPs tomorrow, and I think he's more of the GPP option of the next guys that we're going to be talking about. On the other side, Garrett Richards is still trying to come back from being hurt early in the year. So if you like some of these batters of the A's or the Astros, you can go after him.
Verlander has been doing work. Verlander will be the chalk, I think, tomorrow because he just faced the Angels and he got 61 points against them.
He's not the highest. He's not the highest favorite.
He's not.
Nope.
Oh, you mean you mean Vegas? You mean?
Yeah, next game is the highest favorite.
Oh, okay, yeah, maybe that guy then. But that guy's in Arizona, even though.
Exactly. No, but he pitches better in Arizona.
Yeah, but people don't necessarily
know that.
Yeah, only people who look would know that. You know what I mean?
The only people that look are the people that are playing right now. Just want to let you know.
That's a good point, though.
You know what I mean?
Point. I would like to believe that's true, but I really don't. Some of the stuff I see out there, man, I'm still like, either you don't get the contrarian thing, or you
just
don't
wanna
look
play.
at anything, or like you just don't look at stats.
Yeah.
Some of the lineups I still. But you're right. Majority of the people playing now are
They're
diehards.
playing
So.
Pedro Severino and Rafael Bautista as a mini stack low contrarian bottom of the order for the Nats.
That's exactly what they're doing. But yeah, Verlander definitely a strong play here.
Yeah, I do. He is.
They've been letting him do his thing in Houston. Like, I was worried they were going to try to limit him because of the playoffs coming up, and they're nah, man, do your thing. There's like it's kind of like, yeah, go ahead. I'm with it. But one thing I will say is the Astros have been ice cold, man. Like since getting home, they've just been ass. Like maybe one or two guys will do something good, but like as a stack, they've been like falling flat and been burning me. Adam Conley of the Miami Marlins visiting Zach Greinke of the Arizona Diamondbacks. It's 84 degrees. Do you think they'll open the roof?
Maybe. Yeah, because it'd probably be 84 degrees, not even at that's probably not at 7:00 either.
Right.
I mean, I think Greinke, he's been great at home this year, so I think if for cash, you're going to be looking at him and Verlander. He's the highest favorite on the slate. I really think that all he has to do is avoid, Giancarlo, Yelich, and Ozuna. I think he'd be okay. I like it, but I think that on the other side, Conley, he's better at home. So Iannetta batting second, Pollock batting third, Goldie, and JD Drury. All those righties right there are in play tomorrow, for sure.
So yes, Greinke is probably as far as name goes, he's a guy that people are going to recognize and want to play. We know he pitches better at home. The problem is we know Miami doesn't strike out a ton. From a baseball's perspective, I love Greinke in the spot because I like the offense. I like the matchup against Conley in this ballpark. However, as far as Greinke himself for fantasy purposes, I'm a little worried because D. Gordon, Yelich, Bohr, these are guys that really don't strike out a ton. Stanton strikes out a ton, but he's got obviously steroid power. I'm not accusing him of steroids, but he has the strength of someone who has done steroids.
Yes.
So
I get what you're saying.
Yes. And so even I'm looking at I know nobody's going to be on the Marlins, and they're getting a huge park upgrade. To me, it's a good matchup. They're going up against a pitcher who gives up hard contact when he does get hit. Greinke's a guy in this ballpark. His strikeouts are up because he knows he needs the whiff. But when people do hit the ball, they're hitting it very hard, and that's not his fault. It's just the harder you throw, the harder the ball is going to get hit. And so, as much as I do like Greinke, I feel like Greinke is relatively safe. I also, I'm going to have to do some research. I may be interested in a little bit of Miami mini stack or something, maybe Justin Bohr and D. Gordon. Some of these guys are okay but have big power upside. You know what I mean?
I mean, we both agree that Verlander has the higher ceiling tomorrow, right?
Yes.
Who do you think has the higher floor?
That's a good question because these teams don't strike out a ton.
They both don't.
Yeah, exactly. So that's a really
this is the second time that they've seen him in a week.
Yes, it's never a good thing. And I guess is Miami playing for anything at this point? Are they pretty much done? Yeah, right.
They're done.
So I guess Greinke, I would say, has the higher floor because at least because the Angels are playing for the very much in it. There's not a lot of time left, but they're still chasing that wild card spot. So and like you said, they just saw him last week. It's not like the Marlins see Greinke all that much, at least not anymore. But I do think, well, you know what? If they open the roof, because it's 84 degrees, they haven't been able to open it in a while. If they open that roof, I might have to really dip my feet in the Miami Marlins waters.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I wouldn't mind it either. It's funny. I mean, he's on a night like tonight. I mean, I think that the only thing is the reason why you wouldn't stack the Angels is because you don't really know who to stack.
Right.
It's kind of that's the only reason why you wouldn't really see. You could Trout, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Upton,
Trout and Upton. That's it.
Yeah.
It's after that, you're no thanks. I don't want Phillips. Even Pujols against Verlander, I don't think so. He's cooled down. Who else, dude? Who else? Valbuena, I never win with Valbuena, man. That guy screws me time and time again.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, man. Like, these are the best two pitchers on the slate by far, as you mentioned. We have a couple other guys that are worth consideration, but like as far as name recognition, these are the two guys. But like their matchups are really not all that great. And we say that, but Verlander just put up 61 points against the Angels. He's been super consistent. It's just, like you said, man, seeing somebody twice in a week is rough. But I do like the Arizona offense as well, though. Home, lefty that sucks. Nick Martinez of the Texas Rangers visiting Kendall Graveman of the Oakland Athletics.
Yeah, I think this could be your double stack of the night. Remember when I used to do that back in the day in May? The Wendy's
double stack, bro.
Wendy's double stack.
Wendy's double stack.
And then if we were in a different state, I tried to find the burger from that state. Yeah, that was the beginnings.
It seems so long ago, though, doesn't it?
It does. But yeah, this seems like a double stack. Graveman's terrible. Nick Martinez is terrible. So if you like these bad, Matt Olson, he's just the hottest hitter in baseball right now. So play him. That's what I say. And yeah, I'm all for it. I'm all for this game and stacking against Graveman and against Nick Martinez.
I don't know, man. I know the A's have been red hot, but like they're back home. It's gonna be like 67 degrees. Like I don't know. It's a big park. I don't know. Don't get me wrong. I'm not really into the pitchers, but I don't know.
Joshua won Chris Davis too. So
yeah.
God, I was maybe once I'll play that guy and he'll score.
Yeah, maybe one.
Maybe
but Olsen always in play. That guy is just a freak of nature. Cash game porn, who is no longer cash game porn. He's not GPP porn.
No, he's just high price porn.
He's just high price. He's just luxury porn now.
Yeah, dude.
This is so
high price hoe now. Shit.
But yeah, those guys are obviously in play. The Shark, Jeff Samardzija of the San Francisco Giants, visiting Patio Joe's Los Angeles Dodgers and Rich Hill. Yeah, so Rich Hill I think he's in play, even though he has vaginitis of the fingers. Samardzija is also somebody I think is in play. It's weird. Boy, they out of all the teams, man, the Giants are 3. Their run total is 3 tomorrow. Like Vegas really likes Rich Hill, so he might have the safest floor tomorrow if we think about it. This is a team that doesn't strike out, but lefties. Look at these guys that are in this lineup. I mean, look at the lineup they're going to throw out there. Kelby Thompson, Orlando Calixte, Austin Slater, Nick Hundley. I mean, you got Posey, Pence, Panic. That's it. You got the 3 Ps. That's it. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like, I don't know. I think that, the only thing that would make me pause with the Dodgers because they're struggling still a little bit. So, but I like Hill as long as they let him go. Another problem is like today, Maeda pitched great. They pulled him after 4 innings or 3 innings. Like what? I don't understand. They complain that they work their bullpen too much, but then they pull their starters after 4 innings. So, as long as you don't think Rich Hill's going to be pulled for no reason, then yeah, I think he's okay tomorrow. There's one pretty good reason.
Vaginitis of the fingers, that too.
Always. It's as far as the Giants, like I'm not really afraid to target pitchers against them. I know, they're not striking out, but I think against the right pitchers they will. Well, like we saw, we just talked about that other pitcher that had a freakishly good game against them. Like so they can strike out. Like they strike out a ton of people. So we've seen them do it. So I'm not so opposed. I am a little concerned with the whole finger thing and the whole fact. Just in general, I hate Dodgers pitchers because they're always so I mean, you know what? Here's the thing though. From a DFS perspective, we're upset, right? Like, we prefer organizations like the Mets, who let people like Noah Syndergaard pitch through massive injuries and, like, pitch complete games in the first couple games of the season, and then, he tears his lat and stuff. So from a baseball perspective, the Dodgers are probably doing it the right way, but it's still very frustrating from a fantasy player's perspective because
yes, it is.
They have so many good pitchers, man. So many good pitchers, and you have to hesitate. Where the only guy you can take without question is Kershaw, and even him this year, it's been confusing. It's like
been a struggle.
Yeah. So, yeah. John Gray of the Colorado Rockies visiting Jordan Lyles of the San Diego Padres. Cash and DFS loves his Padres. He's not even a Padre fan, but he's like the Padre whisperer.
Yes, I mean I like the Padres. They've been pretty hot lately. So take a look at them. John Gray is for some reason better at home on the road than he is at home. So I think that you can look at him as an option, or the Padres as an option tomorrow, and because John Gray is too expensive on FanDuel, no way I'm paying $9,000 for that. And Jordan Lyles, he is terrible, and so is their bullpen. So look at these Rockies and stack the Rockies. Cargo, Charlie Blackmon, Arenado, Parra. I like all those guys tomorrow.
Yeah, I
will own too.
Ooh, the Rockies?
Yes.
Yeah,
everybody
they will.
Everybody thinks that they're not that good on the road, so I think there's going to be,
Yeah. No. I definitely hear you. Blackmon, Cargon, Arenado, Parra, the usual suspects against a righty, I think are okay. I do have some concerns with a full stack just because Lyles has he's a pretty good ground ball pitcher. So like that worries me a little bit. But they did just see Lyles, I think, and Lyles, I think, did okay against them. So, like, they've seen him once kind of thing, and now you can expect, like, it's. So, I don't mind it. 4.8 is a pretty high total. It's nothing to laugh at this time of year when the weathers have really cooled across the game. It's something to reckon. So, I totally get that. I think John Gray is playable. The Padres have kind of had some extra pep in their bat lately, but John Gray seems like maybe he's finally ready to kind of get it together. He's had injury issues, so we haven't really been. It's just his price. He's $9K, and it's kind of crazy because he pitched at home against the Padres. He got 7 strikeouts in 5 innings. He got 36 points, and now all of a sudden he's $9K. But we did see him go into Arizona and strike out 10 of those guys. So he's on the road where we know he pitches better. Everybody pitches better on the road. Like nobody really, like even the guys with small samples are like, oh, he pitches better at home. No, eventually he will not. It's like, you know what I mean? Eventually, if he pitches in Coors, eventually he will not. So yeah, I think Gray could be, from a GPP perspective, I could see people maybe, like not being comfortable getting away from like Greinke or Verlander. Maybe. Or I can see Gray being the super chalk because it's the Padres. I can see it going either way, but I got to dig in on that tomorrow, kind of feel around the industry and see what people are thinking. But I see the upside for sure. Last game here, Trevor Bauer of the Cleveland Indians visiting Erasmo Ramirez of the Seattle Mariners.
Well, these Indians, they've won like 26 out of 27 games, so I mean, if you're looking for a pitcher maybe to go, get the win and get maybe a QS, Bauer's your guy. I just don't know how much upside he has going into Seattle and a team that could light him up. You got guys like, Seager. I like his price. I like Yonder Alonso's price. Cano. I like these lefties against Bauer. He does have some GPP flavor because we have seen him strike out over 10. So he could match what Greinke and what Verlander does tomorrow. And Erasmo Ramirez, he's good for about 4 or 5 innings, and then they're just going to go to the pen. So if you want these Indians, I think you can stack these Indians. I think they might be somewhat popular, even though it's the late game at night, but they've been so hot, everybody just knows play the Indians right now.
Yeah. That seems to be the message across. Erasmo Ramirez is not your traditional good pitcher. By the way, I'm going to pat myself on the back because my pitcher today, it's not over yet, but so far he's doing pretty well. I went with Cole Hamels against he might save my night. It's not going to be a great night, but it could be an okay night if he gets me to that min cash line. That. And the main reason I went with him, I never play Hamels. You know that. You know I can't stand Hamels. I went with Hamels because he's been playing well against Seattle lately, like no huge upside, but really the weather. It was like 50 degrees again. He's been freezing. 64 degrees, so I do think it's still decent for these pitchers. I think it's really good pitching weather, and it's already a big ballpark. So I'm with you on Bauer. I think he's a guy that, people might rush to go play his team, but I don't think too many people are going to play him. Because you play John Gray against the Padres for so much cheaper.
Yeah.
I mean, for 200 cheaper. I'm sorry, for just 200 more. Yeah, so hey man, that was quick, that was fun, that was cool. We got through 15 games just like that,
That's what we do with the first look,
That's what we
kind
do.
of give you a little bit of wet your whistle, tell you to look out for pitching.
It's the rundown, and I can tell you what, like, what I do, the whole point of these pods, and, like, my benefit even from doing these is, like, by the time we're done, I have an idea of where I'm going to look tomorrow. So it's like, if you're listening to this pod's over, I think you have an idea of where to dig in. And if you don't, or you don't have time, you go to wisetake.com, you join a community like wisetake.com. And you talk about it with guys that do. You talk about it with me. You talk about it with Joe, with Paulie. You talk about it with Wisco, with Cam. You talk about it with other subscribers like Woo Chef. That dude's learned a lot since joining up, and he's been doing phenomenal. Like, all these guys are knowledgeable. That's what you do. You join a community if you don't have time to do the research. If you don't have time to do full research and you're not in a community, then you probably shouldn't play. So if you're going to play but you don't have the time, you better be in a community and learn a thing or two and get some information delivered to you. And you better use promo code Facebook and save yourself 10% off your subscription.
That's right.
And
you can also hit us up on Twitter too, and just send us a DM or something like that. I don't mind answering start-sit questions, or even like, who do you like better? Just not price or whatever. I don't care. I love doing that. I think it's awesome. I think it's surreal when somebody asks me questions on Twitter. I think it's just because not too long ago I was that guy. So I appreciate giving back. So anybody hit me up on Twitter at Patio Joe Ref and help you out with week 3, with baseball, anything. Even if not, trust me, I know where to go get it. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I think. The Niners tried to tie it, and then they missed the 2-point conversion. They did the extra point. I mean, they got the onside kick. And now it seems like they've gotten sacked in like the last 3. They got the ball though, I think. It's weird. I don't know. Niners have the ball, but they have the 1st and 10, but they just got sacked. So it must have been like a penalty or something. Dude. We'll see. But they could tie the game, or a field goal wins the game actually now. So that would be a crazy comeback for this Niners and a good Thursday night game. The NFL needs it.
Yeah, no, that's true. They've been pretty bad other than the week 1. That was pretty cool, but other than that, it's been pretty bad. Anyway, that was a blowout. Guys, go over to facebook.com/wisetake. Do me a favor, like the Facebook page, trying to grow our presence over there. I've actually been releasing a video during the week, one day, every day, try to release a little clip or something. It might not be advice. Sometimes it's strategy. Sometimes it's advice. Sometimes it's just a rant. Sometimes it might be just Patio Joe saying hi. I might just post a video of Patio Joe literally saying hi. But you're only going to find those on Facebook. So go to that page, facebook.com/wisetake, like the page for us. Joe, anything in closing?
No, man. Guys, enjoy Fridays. It's there's only about 10 days left in the season.
Yep.
For baseball and for football, like we're already on week 3.
That's it.
Remember, we were leading up to it for so many months.
Yeah, and now
it's like we're already in week 3.
Oh,
It's flies by.
It does. So, guys, this is the last podcast of the week for baseball. And then, of course, next week we will still be finishing out the regular season with the podcast. So this is the last podcast. Last day of content is Friday for baseball before the weekend. Then next week we'll pick it back up. But this Saturday, if you are not subscribed to the football package, this Saturday you might want to. We have a NFL Wise stream. We're doing it Saturday, 2 p.m. Eastern. We're going to have Paulie D, myself, Cash and DFS, some seriously good tournament players. And we are going to break down, really dig into these slates, find out who our guys are on, what direction that everybody's kind of going, really talk about the slate and dig in. So don't miss it if you can make it. It'll be archived. If you can't make it live, it'll be archived until week 3 is officially over. So you'll have a chance to go back and watch it if you can't make it. If you can, hop in there. We have a chat going over on the premium side, and you can communicate with us. So other than that, if you're watching on YouTube, please click that thumbs up. That like button means a lot to us. If you're listening on Podbean, give us a follow. If you're listening on iTunes, give us some 5-star reviews. Bump us up those charts. If you're listening on YouTube, go to iTunes anyway and give us some 5-star reviews. We're trying to get some more exposure and do our thing that way. So for Patio Joe, for myself, and the entire Wise Take Nation, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And as always, good luck.
Peace.
Yeah.